And you were
Yeah.
talking about that now, karmic path is a choice. We don't have to repeat it anymore. And could you talk about what is karma? Because I think a lot of people associate karma with karmic justice, but there's a lot more to it. And talk about like, what do you mean by karma is a choice now?
Yeah, absolutely. So the karma, I think we get this into this perspective, this idea that karma is a judgment that's made against us, and that we are kind of forced into a life where we run up against our karma, and it's like a punishment, that, and that idea that like eye for an eye, like if you do something, it creates karma, and that karma is going to come back at you. And I think that is how people use that term. And that is not my understanding of karma. My understanding of karma is that karma is just a word to define anything that we chose to experience on earth. So these are things that and so sometimes when we, at the end of our life, we cross over, we go through a life review, we experience everything that we experienced on earth from every perspective. So all the people that we wounded, we feel it as if it was us. And in those moments, we might feel like we feel all their feelings. We might feel terrible about something that happened. And when we do, we say, oh my gosh, I need to make that right somehow. And so how can I make that right? And we will at that moment be our own judge and mete out our own justice. Like we are the ones who judge ourselves. So we may look at a particular situation and say, yeah, that bad thing happened, but I was totally justified in doing that, because like out on the other side, we may not judge ourselves. We may feel like, no, I can see that that was fair and this is why that happened. And but what if we do? What if we look at it and say, wow, I made that person feel terrible, I need to make it right? Well, we may come into this world and decide that we then want to be the recipient of that same energy, so that we can really embody that and feel that and come to a space of self-understanding or forgiveness, forgive the other person, forgive ourselves, whatever it is. And so we create this karma for ourselves. And sometimes karma can be a really good thing. It can be like, I want to come to earth and be a healer. Okay, that's your karma, right? You got to come to earth and be, and if you don't do it, you let yourself down. So karma can be positive or negative. But the difference is that we have been in this earth school, which is created with this concept of karma, where we create for ourselves almost like a course or class schedule, as if we're going to say, okay, you are at the earth school and here is your agenda, here's your syllabus, here's all the things you're going to do. You are going to experience the pain of rejection, and then you're going to go grow through forgiveness, and then you're going to experience the pain of abandonment, and then you're going to grow through, right, here's your syllabus, this is what you're going to, and you're also going to become a healer, and you're going to do this and you're going to do that. And you might do that, like how that plays out will vary based on you, right, based on the choices of free will, but there will still be these highlights in the syllabus. And that has been our journey up until now. Well, as we go through this shift in consciousness, it won't be like that anymore. It won't be a situation where we are defined by our karma. And it will not be the same type of school. Like right now, we experience things through contrast and through conflict. And as we move into this new state of awareness, we will be at a place where we have much more awareness of the world around us, that we won't be that sort of person who's bumbling into life, bumping up against ourselves and not understanding it and trying to understand ourselves. We will have that understanding much more readily. So, and same thing about in terms of the process of creation becomes very, very different for ourselves. As we move into this new state of consciousness, we will see things as energy, and we'll be able to see into things. So, for example, I might be able to see, like, here's my computer mouse. And right now, to me, it feels very solid. I just see it as a piece of plastic. But once we go through this consciousness shift, I will be able to look at this and I can still see it with my five senses. I can still smell it, taste it, touch it, knock on it. It's still physical, except I will also see it. It's almost like I have additional senses that open up. I will also see it as energy. I will see it as vibrating. And as I look at it vibrating, I might look at this mouse and say, wow, I notice in this mouse that there is one energy that's discordant, right? That is a non-harmonious energy that is inside the mouse. And maybe it's because the person who assembled this mouse at the factory that day was in a bad mood, right? And as they were splitting it, they were grumpy, and they were working on the mouse, and all that energy is going into the mouse. And I can look at it in this new state of consciousness and see, oh wow, there's that piece of energy in there that doesn't that's really disharmonious. And I can change that. It's mutable. I can change it. So so in a world where we can alter the world around us, karma doesn't make as much sense, right? We experience the world differently, and our goal of living becomes to learn how to work with the energies around us, as opposed to what the current goal is, which is to confront ourselves. So that our purpose for coming to Earth is different.